Okay, I want you to picture a scene for me. It's moody almost, almost noir. You've got this solitary figure in a stunning black gown. She has a lace masquerade mask over her eyes.
Okay, I'm with you.
And she's holding a fan of playing cards, just staring right down the camera. It looks like the end of some high-stakes game, Like she just bet it all and is waiting to see what happens.
It's very glamorous, very mysterious. It's the kind of photo that makes you just stop scrolling.
It is. But now, I want you to just smash cut in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Go from that to the gritty, dusty reality of a Texas rodeo arena. You can almost smell the livestock, hear the crowd, feel the dirt kicking up.
Total opposite ends of the spectrum.
Exactly. Like, these two worlds should not exist in the same story. But that's exactly where we are today, because the headline that just dropped yesterday, Monday, January 26, 2026, confirms it. The supermodel who traded runways for ranch life is riding solo again.
And it is a massive, massive story. We are, of course, talking about the split between Bella Hadid and the professional cowboy Adan Banuelos.
Welcome to the Deep Dive from StarScope Report. Today, our whole mission is to peel back the layers here. Because, on the surface, it just looks like another celebrity split. Model dates a guy, they break up, we see it every week.
Right.
But when you look at the sources we have, everything from Entertainment Tonight to the official National Cutting Horse Association records, this is actually a story about two completely different economies colliding. Hollywood glam versus Western grit.
Completely. This is not just they broke up. This is a story that involves a fifth-wheel trailer, a very meta cameo on Yellowstone, and a multi-million-dollar business complication that is going to make this whole thing incredibly messy.
We're covering the drama, the shakeups, and the stories behind the fame. And today, we're asking the big question. She gave up Hollywood for this cowboy, and now what?
To really get the now what, we have to start with the facts as they stand right now. As of yesterday, outlets like Page Six and Entertainment Tonight have confirmed that Bella Hadid, who's 29, and Adan Banuelos, 36, have ended their relationship. It was about 2 years.
And the timing. I mean, It's pretty telling. That picture I described at the start, that wasn't just me setting a scene. That was a real photo Bella posted to Instagram just days before the news hit.
Ah, the classic revenge dress post.
100%. She's on a boat, she's got the lace mask, the dress has this cutout back, and the comments, of course, were just going wild. Everyone's typing Mapacha in all caps. But now, with this context, you look back and it's like, oh, that wasn't just a fashion shoot.
No, that was a statement.
That was her announcing she's back.
It totally fits the pattern. But if you dig into the reporting, this wasn't like a sudden explosion. It seems the cracks had been forming for a while. Page Six had sources describing the relationship as tumultuous and on again, off again.
So this was a slow burn.
It seems like it. A slow erosion caused by the classic culprits, right? Distance and just insane schedules.
Which is so tragic because for the longest time, this really felt like the real deal. I mean, think about the whiplash for fans. We're only a few months past their anniversary. Back in October, Adan posted this super sweet tribute.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. He called their relationship pure and beautiful. He literally wrote, "I'll keep reminding you every day just how much I love you." And then 3 months later, it's over.
It just highlights that gap between the curated Instagram feed and, reality. We know now that Bella spent the holidays in Aspen with her friends.
Right, and Adan was nowhere to be seen.
And in celebrity reporting, that is always the biggest red flag. If you're not together for New Year's, especially after a public post like that, you're usually not together at all.
Yep. So the reports now say Bella is doing her best to stay positive. She's distracting herself with work and friends, but she's also still processing it. And processing feels right, because this wasn't just a boyfriend she lost. This was a whole lifestyle change.
A total reinvention.
And to understand why this breakup is so significant, you really have to go back to the beginning. Because you will not believe where one of the world's most famous models was living when this all started. And here's a hint. It definitely wasn't a mansion.
Not even close. And that's a perfect place to go next. But first, if you want to stay ahead of the curve on the biggest celebrity breakups and the business fallout behind them, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We are tracking all the stories that matter.
Okay, so let's unpack this origin story. Because it honestly sounds like a movie script that a studio would probably reject for being like, too unbelievable. It's early 2023. Bella Hadid has basically disappeared.
Vanished from the fashion world.
Right. She's dealing with her chronic Lyme disease. She's taking a break. She moves to Texas to be closer to her mom, Yolanda.
She said she was looking for a peaceful lifestyle. She wasn't looking for paparazzi. She was looking for health. And so naturally, in Texas, she ends up at a horse show in Fort Worth.
And she's getting a cowboy hat fitted. I just love that little detail. So she's getting a hat fitted, and in walks Adan Banuelos. Bella told British Vogue he was a gust of fresh air. Do you know why?
Because he had no clue who she was.
Exactly. He reportedly had no idea.
That is the ultimate fantasy, right? The Notting Hill factor. Just wanting to be seen as a person. But here's the detail that, for me, really showed this was different. When they started dating, Bella didn't just move to a house in Texas. She reportedly moved into Adan's fifth-wheel trailer at his training facility.
Okay, let's just pause on that for a second. A fifth-wheel trailer. For anyone listening who might not know what that is, we are not talking about some luxury Airstream.
No.
We're talking about a functional living space hooked up to a truck at a working horse facility. This is a woman who's walked for Chanel, for Versace. She's been on the cover of every Vogue imaginable, and she's living in a trailer on a ranch.
Waking up to the smell of hay and, manure every morning.
That is commitment. That is sending a message that you are all in.
It really speaks to this deep desire she had for something authentic, but I think it's so important that we clarify who Adan Banuelos actually is, because you hear cowboy living in a trailer and you might make some assumptions.
You might think he's some struggling ranch hand.
Exactly, and that is just objectively false. This guy is not just some cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
In the world of the National Cutting Horse Association, the NCHA, he is basically royalty.
Oh, absolutely. This is high-performance athletics.
Adan Banuelos is in the NCHA Hall of Fame. In fact, when he was inducted back in 2017, he was one of the youngest riders ever to get in. His lifetime earnings, over $8.2 million.
So in his world, he's the celebrity.
He is the LeBron James of cutting horses, and his backstory is just as incredible as hers. His father, Ascension Banuelos, is a legend. He emigrated from Mexico when he was 13, literally swam across the river to find work.
Wow.
Worked his way up from cleaning stalls to becoming the first Mexican-American inducted into that same Hall of Fame. So Adan grew up in this dynasty of hard work and grit. He wasn't going to be starstruck by a model.
That context just changes everything. And watching them, it really felt like they were building this bridge between their two worlds. We had the soft launch photo in early 2024, and then the hard launch on Valentine's Day.
At the Fort Worth Stockyards, yeah. It was very Yellowstone meets Vogue.
It was. But here's what's so fascinating. Usually when a celebrity dates an athlete, they sit in the VIP box and cheer, they wear the jersey.
Right, like the Taylor Swift model.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bella didn't do that. She got on the horse.
She didn't just get on the horse, she became a champion. And later, we are absolutely going to get into the million-dollar problem that makes this whole breakup so messy. Because when you mix love and livestock assets, things get very, very complicated.
Oh, yeah.
They do.
Okay, so let's talk about Bella the cowgirl. Because looking at the NCHA records, this was not a publicity stunt. She really put in the work.
She definitely did. In 2024, Bella Hadid was named the NCHA Limited Age Event Rookie of the Year. She even won a reserve champion title on a horse named Metallic Hardball.
Okay, for anyone listening who has never seen a cutting competition, can you just break down what that means? Like, what is she actually doing out there?
Sure. So cutting is a sport that came from old school ranch work. The whole point is to ride your horse into a herd of cattle, separate or cut one single cow out, and then keep it from getting back to the herd.
It sounds simple.
It sounds simple, but it is incredibly difficult because once the cow is cut, the rider drops their hand on the reins, they stop steering, the horse has to work all on its own, using its instincts to mirror every move that cow makes.
But it's all on the horse.
It's a partnership, but the horse is doing the heavy lifting. It's athletic, it's fast, there are hard stops, sharp turns. You can't fake it. If you don't have the skill, you're going to fall off.
And she was doing this at a championship level. I've seen the videos. She looked like a natural. And she didn't just keep it in Texas either. Remember that event in September 2024?
Oh, the Window to the West event. That was a huge moment.
They literally brought Texas to New York City. They shut down the meatpacking district, covered the cobblestone streets in sand.
And you had all these fashion icons watching Adan and Bella do a full-on cutting horse demonstration right there in the middle of Manhattan.
It was so surreal. It felt like the ultimate collision of their worlds. And it seemed like they were just unstoppable. They even crossed over into the biggest thing in pop culture, Yellowstone.
This was the point where the lines between fiction and reality just completely blurred. December 2024, Season 5, Episode 13.
Bella guest starred as a character named Sadie, who was the girlfriend of Travis Wheatley. and Travis is played by Taylor Sheridan, the creator of the show. It was so meta.
Incredibly self-aware casting. There's this one scene where Beth Dutton, the character everyone is terrified of, she asks Sadie why she's with Travis. She calls him arrogant and old.
Basically just insults him to his girlfriend's face.
Yes, and Bella's character, Sadie, just gives her this look and says, "Have you ever seen him ride before?"
Iconic. And Adan was in that same episode. It felt like they were being crowned the king and queen of this new Western cool. They were selling a fantasy, and we were all buying it.
Which is why this breakup news feels so abrupt. We were sold this perfect, unlikely love story, but now we have to talk about the reality of splitting up when you are that intertwined, and this is where we get to that twist.
Money.
The assets. Page 6 is reporting that the split is complicated specifically because the two of them purchased million-dollar horses together.
Okay, wait, let's stop there. Million-dollar horses, we are not talking about a pet. Why on earth is a horse worth $1 million?
This is the side of the industry most people never see. At the top tier, these cutting horses are high-stakes investment vehicles. It's almost like buying stock. We're talking about horses with insane bloodlines, sired by legends like Metallic Cat.
So it's all about the genetics.
It's the genetics.
Yeah.
These horses are valued not just for what they can win in an arena, which can be hundreds of thousands of dollars, but for their breeding rights. A stud fee for a top stallion can be tens of thousands of dollars per session.
Wow.
Or if you own a top mare, her embryos are worth a fortune. So when you buy a horse at this level, you are buying a business, a biological factory.
So they bought these horses together as a business venture.
That's what it looks like. They have shared assets that are alive. I mean, if you break up and you own a house, you sell the house. If you own art, you split it. But how do you split a championship horse that needs Adan's specific training program every single day just to maintain its value?
That is so awkward. So Bella can't just pack up and go back to New York. She's an investor in his business.
She's a significant financial partner in his entire ecosystem. He's the trainer, the asset manager. She's the owner and writer. They now have to navigate a professional relationship involving seven-figure animals while they're still processing a romantic breakup.
That puts those tumultuous rumors into a whole new light. It's not just, I'm mad at you. It's, okay, so what are we doing with Metallic Hardball? Who's paying the vet? Who gets the winnings?
Precisely. And it raises this much bigger question about the whole Western trend in Hollywood. Bella was the poster child for it. Now that she's single, does she stay in Fort Worth? Does she keep her ranch?
Well, sources say she's still in Texas for now. She has her own home there. But without Adan, does the whole thing lose its appeal? It's a really fascinating turning point.
It is. And before we wrap up, just a reminder that we have more deep dives coming up on the Yellowstone universe and the business of celebrity investments. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of it.
Okay, so let's recap this wild ride.
Yeah.
We started with a supermodel recovering from an illness who meets a Hall of Fame cowboy while getting a hat fitted.
A movie-level meet-cute.
They survived living in a fifth-wheel trailer, which I still can't get over. They thrived in the competition arena, winning Rookie of the Year. They brought horses to the streets of New York City and even landed on the biggest show on TV.
And then the reality of two massive careers, the distance, the pressure, it all caused it to crumble, leaving them with broken hearts and a very complicated portfolio of world-class horses.
It really makes you think. We all love the romance of the simple life,
Yeah.
the fantasy of running away to a ranch. But at the end of the day, a high-performance horse career and a high-fashion modeling career are both incredibly demanding.
They are. And here's my final thought for you to chew on. We often look at celebrity relationships as just romance, but at this level, they're basically mergers. Bella Hadid didn't just date a cowboy, she invested in an entire industry.
That's a great point.
So now that the romance is over, she's left with this legitimate foothold in a world that is usually totally closed off to outsiders. So the question isn't just, will she go back to Hollywood? The question is, could she become a power player in the Western horse industry all on her own? She's got the awards, she owns the horses, and she definitely has the name recognition.
That's a fascinating angle. So maybe the cowboy core era isn't ending for her. Maybe it's just getting down to business.
Exactly.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.